Hello, Reverend Crystal Cox here. I'll tell you guys about Mary Wells, Marilyn Wells, Port Townsend homeless shelter. Okay? You remember Julie? She was there for like 6 years. She was in the bathrooms all the time downtown. All right, well, Marilyn's is kind of a similar story, but Marilyn is, I'm not sure how old she is. 80 maybe, 60, 70. But last year at this time, she could hardly walk. She spent her days at the bathroom downtown Port Townsend. And then we had the COVID stuff, right? So then they kept people at the shelter. I was in contact after years. Okay, so Mary, if you hung out down at the Maritime Center, Velocity or whatever, Marilyn was always in the bathrooms. She's a vet. She always had camo pants on. She, washed up in the bathrooms and stuff. She had nowhere to go, and she's in pain. She can barely move. And she would plug into the electricity to listen to her clock radio. I bought her an MP3 player with a radio in it and headphones so that she could move around, a little bit, get away from the sockets. We all know from my OlyCap exposés, and if you look it up, that OlyCap gets about $7 million a year, right? OlyCap runs the Port Townsend shelter. Now, they're also doing, I guess, the homeless thing at the fairgrounds. Every sector of homeless is different. Okay, there's homeless that live in tent, homeless that live on the ground, homeless that lay on the docks, there's homeless that live in cars, there's homeless that are at the shelter. And they're all different levels and layers, okay? It's a lot easier to keep your sanity in the car, see? And it's not always easy to do that. Because the shelter, if you see my video on that, it's a nightmare in there. It's constant lights and constant noise and constant games, kind of like Lord of the Flies or some sort of, those movies where these tribal, it's... Okay, they don't help people to move on. I've seen people that showed up here that got into meth and heroin after they got to the shelter. I seen them before they got to the state they're in now. Good, nice people. I spent one night at the shelter. It was a nightmare. It was like a torture chamber, like someone you'd see in a movie trying to get information out of you. Lights on all night, people fighting all night, TV all night. Just absolutely horrible. And games and fights and OlyCap, and now they're going to build another big shelter. OlyCap cannot fucking handle this one, right? They just want more money for themselves, okay? So they can get buildings and they can get services. They see mental issues, all these different services when people need homes, okay? And at the very least, they need privacy. Now, Marilyn Wells, quite a few years back, she was given a quilt at the VFW for her, I think her husband's service in the military or her service or something like that. Anyway, that's been taken over the last few years. It's just disappeared. All of the homeless people's storage stuff got weird at the fairgrounds. Some got stolen, some got all around, blah, blah, blah. Last year at this time, I said, look, I can help you, okay? Get you out of here. So she needs to get to the VA Center Hospital in Seattle. She didn't want to go because she had stuff that needed to go in storage. The people at the shelter weren't helping her get her storage. She had all of these obstacles, right? And she had arguments every day. People were mean to her. There are different religious things, different age groups, There's no way the elderly people that can barely move, that are dying, should be in the shelter. They should be in hospice. They should be, a nursing home would definitely be better. I get that she's in charge of herself in a way, but she's lost touch with it, right? When you're up against what she's up against every day, extreme pain, incontinence, abscessed teeth, just, she needs help, right? And if OlyCap can't help someone like her, and I've seen several women like her over the last 6 years, what are they doing? Nothing. And not only is OlyCap getting all the money, right? Other nonprofits can't get it because when you apply for it, they say, well, there's already someone doing those services here. Well, no, they're not. And then when they talk about building another shelter, they talk about, services, mental health issues, drug issues, all these things. That's not Housing First, Port Townsend. Housing first, just get them into housing, and then tell us what's wrong with us, okay? Mary needs a doctor. She needs a hospital, not the Port Townsend downtown bathrooms with the tourists, right? She will be there now again every day from 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. She has nowhere to go. She's in extreme pain. And like I said, abscessed teeth, can barely move. And I finally, after a year of trying, I got a hold of her family last year. I'm going to try not to cry. This is just factual. They don't give a fuck, okay? So she's got a brother in Eugene, Oregon, and she's got some nephews. Whatever happened, they didn't help her. All somebody has to do is help her get to Seattle, right? So why don't I do that? Well, I can't do that because her stuff, she's got storage that's an issue. So I just saw her again after the whole COVID thing, and she's in the bathrooms again. They just put people out today at the shelters, June 1st, and they're going to be out all day. Today it's really, really hot, so she's in the bathroom, and all she can do is sit there all day on her chair and go back and forth to the bathroom because she can't get far away from the bathroom because she's got issues. So don't ever think that OlyCap gets money to help people. They don't. They get money to help themselves, okay? And there's a conflict of interest with one of the commissioners or a city council. I think it's a commissioner, that Greg Brotherton or whatever. I think he's part of OlyCap. So they all got money going and generating for their stuff. They're not helping the homeless. When you look at the issues that people are talking about with heroin and, the real drug issues and the insanity and the violence and all that among the homeless, I allege that OlyCap caused a lot of it. Because I seen a lot of those folks before OlyCap got a hold of them. They could have helped them. They could have helped them move on, but they didn't. So now I'm sitting here going, okay, well, I'm going to get a hold of her family again. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. My Facebook account got shut down because, I was exposing corruption. We'll just leave it at that. And so I don't have that information. I was just trying to find it. And I'm like, feeling like just really frustrated. And like, why is it my burden? It's not my burden, but she knows me. I've tried to help her. I live in a vehicle. I need to use the restroom. There's no way to not see her every day, and I can do nothing to help her, right? So I'm jumping in to try to help her yet again. There's some guy last summer offered to give her a ride to Seattle. She doesn't even know if that's still available, right? The VA bus doesn't come here, right? Why can't she get an ambulance? Why can't she, I don't understand all the logistics. But today I give her a stern talk. She started talking about all the horrible things at the shelter again. And today I was like, I've had it. I don't care. I don't, I asked her if she wanted to video her story. She doesn't because she's scared of the repercussions. I asked her this a year ago. I've asked other people at the shelter. They're scared. I don't know what the frick they're scared of, right? Who they're scared of there, or what's even true. I know what my night at the shelter. So I believe the people that are staying there on how fucking insane it is there. So Mary needs still, here we are, heading into the summer of 2021. I don't know what she's been there 6 years. I don't know. And she needs to get to the VA center in Seattle. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that and conjuring things up and stressing. And it just hit me like, why is that my burden to bear? And I told her that. She's like, I don't want to be a burden. And I'm like, well, you are. We're all a burden. We're all a burden on somebody. And so even the people that don't think they are, whatever, the people that live in houses, millionaires, billionaires are a burden on somebody. We're all part of Mother Earth. Anyway, so Port Townsend makes no sense, right? So they put a sticker on my car, right? I'm moving daily. I got an income. I help people all the time, and they go after me, but they do nothing to help what's really going on, right? Oh no, OlyCap is the good guy. No, OlyCap is not the good guys. And I don't care what anyone ever says about it. Are the people kept alive? Yeah. Drug addicted because there's a little drug ring that OlyCap doesn't seem to care about and the police do nothing about. But they want to take I got a parking infraction, right? Because some elite do-gooder with their head up their ass decided to report me. And I'm just fucking a 50-year-old woman just sleeping in a car. Right? I can't help Mary, and I couldn't help Michael, and Michael still don't have his dog in this fucking town. I love the land and I love the people, but the politics here, you don't ever think that Port Townsend helps the homeless, okay? What they do is they just rub all the dirt around, and then they collect more money to clean up the dirt. Then they rub the dirt around some more and get more money. Reminds me of a fisheries job in Montana. We had a ranch, and the guy come in, and I knew a guy, a really good backhoe guy, and he's who I wanted to do the rock work in the river on our property. But the way politics work and nepotism within the system, and they hire each other's contractors, and they hire each other's, and so basically, well, there was two projects at that time. One was the city. I know I'm jumping all around. It was a plumbing thing, and they fixed it for huge amounts of money. They give it to a contract to a friend, and then it broke, and they hired him again. So they keep hiring their buddies, and they set it up to break. Okay. And with the river project, the guy admitted they published it and put it out to all people, but they wouldn't let our backhoe guy do it. They already had their guy. Their guy screwed it up, and a year later had to do it more. They don't care because they already set it up to fail so they can get more money the next year, the next year, the next year. And that's the way OlyCap runs the Port Townsend homeless. They set it up to fail, and they're ruining people's lives. They're not helping people. If I had $500,000 to work with a year, not $7 million, to work directly with people like Mary to get her to safety, sanity, health, and out of pain. Okay? I don't know one person that OlyCap has helped. Okay? Now, I got a pretty good resume. I had an income. I had a lot that I brought to OlyCap 4 years ago. They haven't helped me find housing. Right? They're not even trying. Okay? Anyway, so welcome to summer, downtown Port Townsend, where the homeless are fucking insane because they go nuts in the basement of the VFW by the way they're treated by OlyCap. And then you wonder why they act out in the streets. Like last year, what some guy hit an axe into the thing out here at the Maritime Center, which was the one thing that I did report because it was scaring people. Because the shelter was ignoring abuse that was happening to him that was really happening. And the police were ignoring it. Everybody was, it's all the homeless people's problem. No, it's OlyCap's problem. I've seen the people before they went in there. They weren't into heroin. They weren't violent. They weren't freaked out mental cases. And OlyCap turned them into that by the way they treat people and their little drug rings that they allow to keep happening. Okay, so I don't know what I'm going to do to help Mary. Okay, I give her a pep talk. I told her, got to get you to the VA. You can't, worry about your stuff. She's got this call in. She's got to need a VA, but she's got the. Okay, what are you going to do? I can't cart her around, right? I had her at my church a couple times. I couldn't. I didn't have a grab bar. She's incontinent. I can't help her. I can't lift her. I can't be responsible to help these people. I'm going to keep continuing to help Mary because it's a thing, but. Why the fuck aren't you helping Mary? Why didn't you help Julie? She laid on the tables downtown for 5 fucking years, and you kept getting money, and then you just put her out every day, just got your little jobs, and then they hire, right? Oh, $12, $15 an hour, come down here, work at OlyCap. Okay, go work down there. Then I'm the worker. It's just like this video I did last night. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. When I did wooden boat security, I was rousting the homeless, and then I'm back in the car, and then I'm the homeless being rousted. It's a big old rat cage. But I just want the general public to know that OlyCap is not the good guy. And now they're going to spend millions on a new shelter, okay, so they can provide services to help people. They're not. Okay, they might be giving money to mental health professionals, psychologists, doctors, but they're not. But then the people go back to the streets. They go back to the shelter. They go back to insanity, inhumane conditions, light, torture, bizarre things that happen at the Port Townsend shelter and drugs and just fucked up things, right? And they want to create an even bigger one out there at the traffic circle or whatever to generate more money for who's ever involved, okay? It's not about helping the homeless get housed, okay? There's like a 5-year, 10-year plan I've read. It's posted on my Port Townsend, porttownsendnews.blogspot.com, where Port Townsend, either the city government or the county, is a plan about housing first. The housing first philosophy is to get people housing first. then send them to your mental doctors and your drug, whatever, all this stuff to help them, okay? They let illegal drugs go on deliberately, and then they provide services to help them, all about their big money machine. There's tons of white paper that police services, every service, you name it, you add them all together, it's way cheaper to house the homeless. That's housing first. Housing first, then the other amenities. What they're talking about with this new shelter is still all the amenities. Oh yes, and we'll house them, but in an institutional way where they go insane, because OlyCap has no humanity, no compassion. They do not know how to deal with people. They're not healers. They do not care about people. And even if they have employees that do care, what is one employee going to do if the system's set up that way? You know, what am I going to do? Again, right? I told Mary this time, I can't help her. I'm an old woman too. Okay. I'm 50 years old. I also live in the streets. Okay. I can't help her. I've lost the numbers to her family, you know, and I don't know what the hell her family, people, you know, you just abandon people, right? There's no one in her life. She's got a brother. She's got all these people that can just get her from Port Townsend to Seattle and to the VA system. Well, maybe I could do that. Well, no, I'm under my own stuff. And now I can't haul her stuff in my car. I live in my car. But last year, like I said, I tried to take her different places. It was too much for me because she had so much stuff. And just to lift her, I can't do that. Okay. So putting these people out in the street, it's sick. It's not like this in other countries, folks. America, the land of the free. Everybody's living in the streets, pissing their pants in massive pain and swelling abscessed mouth, right? And people like, OlyCap are the good guys. Not a chance. Not even a teeny bitty chance. Well, we're feeding them, so what? Okay? They enable the illegal drug rings. They create insanity. And they torment people. Anyway, here's the story. That's all I got, pretty much. Which means I'm going to talk another 20 minutes about Mary, because I saw Mary again today and seen her since last year. I took her out to my church a couple times. Like I said, she wet herself. I didn't have a grab bar. I couldn't help her. I don't get it. I don't get why OlyCap is so fucking evil. You think you're helping the homeless? I'm paid to remove the mud. So I get $100,000 to remove the mud, and I move it just a little bit, and then it appears again, and then I get the money again because of nepotism, right? Because of who knows who. It's all about money, and it's pure evil. And Mary is in a massive amount of pain, okay? The homeless help the homeless. The system does not help the homeless. They feed off of the homeless. The politicians, the government, the police, the way things work, they feed off of the homeless. Meaning that's all part of the money in the budget. Oh, well, we got to help the homeless, so we're helping them. And I've applied for grants. Like I said, I've had a nonprofit for 7 years. And I have been told personally by several of the top people and read it in rejection letters or whatever, that OlyCap is already providing that service. The fuck they are. They are not providing a service. They are sheltering people and feeding them. Okay? No one should be in a homeless shelter more than 3 months. Okay? Move them on. Get them apartments, get them subsidies, get them into hospitals, get them mental help, get them health. You know, have somebody that works for OlyCap that has a brain, and a lot of the people can't do anything about it. But who's ever creating this mess is not thinking, or they're just thinking in terms of money for themselves. It's a no-brainer to sit down with each person one-on-one and get them to their next step. Maybe not in a day. Maybe not in a week. Maybe not in a month. Maybe not in 3 months. Maybe not. But certainly within 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, right? These people, these homeless people, are a commodity for OlyCap and the community. They're going to build affordable housing up by the QFC, right? You've read that stuff, right? They're taxing everybody again. I pay tax out the wazoo on Amazon, right? This is all about affordable housing. Then they say, oh, well, we can spend a bunch of it on a mental health facility. That's not housing first. So it's all lies and politics and games. Meanwhile, you have women like Mary all day, every day in the Port Townsend bathrooms downtown with the tourists in massive pain, crying, nowhere to go, no way to get there. OlyCap, get the fuck out. Stop, please. Give up your foundation. Go away so that another 100 different foundations can do what you're not doing for that same amount of money. Just go away. All of the illegal activity at the fairgrounds, the people dying, people going insane, people in pain and tormented, is because of you, OlyCap. Just go away. You're not helping anybody. All right, so y'all going to see Mary. Nothing you could do to help her, right? What she needs now is to get to the VA hospital. And so I'm going to pray about it, and I'm going to decide what to do next to help her. I told her I didn't want to hear anything about the shelter. I don't want to hear about what food's left out, who's fighting who, all the crap over there. I said, I'm done. I don't want to hear it. I said, tomorrow when we meet, let's talk about Jesus. Let's talk about the Bible. Let's talk about spiritual stuff, really cool stuff, whatever you're interested in. I don't want to hear about it because you won't let me take action. I want to take action against OlyCap. Okay. The people that are at the shelter are scared of that. So they don't want to speak out. Okay. So I'm going to pray about it and I'm going to decide what I'm going to do to help Mary. And then everyone else at the shelter, whatever. Okay. But just know that when you're running into the people downtown Port Townsend that are from the shelter, they're angry and they're violent inside because they're hurting and suffering and tortured. And they've been there for years. Okay. Anyway, that's a bit about Mary. I will decide tomorrow what I'm going to do. I'm frustrated. I couldn't find my contacts to her nephew, and she doesn't have kids, and she's a widow. She was a school teacher, so she's been living like this for 20 years. There isn't anything more important than everyone having a home and privacy. I say that in every video, but it's just so like, oh, let's recreate. Let's just putter around, let's go do this, let's go do that. Spending money on the craziest, stupidest next idea to make everybody's lives better when the basic needs of people sleeping on the ground, right? And those of you who know, downtown near the Maritime Center, there's a man who sleeps on the dock. I think it's a man. I don't really know. Over the last year, doesn't seem to be a harm to anybody, but scares me nonetheless. Just screaming and making weird noises and fighting the air, and probably could use some help. And probably, you go more and more and more into that insanity, into that violent, into that place when you're not getting any help and you're not being treated humane. And the irony is that what I think I heard from Michael today, still don't have his dog, right? Center Valley, what is it, up to like $15,000, $20,000 to get him back, and cahoots with Officer Wendy Davis and the lynch mob at the Center Valley Animal Rescue. If you don't have that, check out michaelandmoses.blogspot.com. A lot of my videos got shut down. I've reposted them. I have a Facebook page, which is posted there too about the story. So they're spending cases. They're criminally charging Michael. So they're spending all this to go after and terrorize the homeless when they could spend a little bit helping them, right? How much would it cost to get Mary to the VA hospital where she could get treated for free, right? But no, they don't do it, no. And you might ask, why don't I do it? It's not that fucking easy, okay? Besides, at this point, I am not going to drive to Seattle. So, I'll probably talk about this more, but it's on deaf ears, right? I told Mary, save yourself, right? I don't want to hear about it anymore. I know about the insanity that goes on, but I don't understand why there's a homeless shelter downtown Port Townsend. I know what I was going to say, that the guy is sleeping out on the ground, right? There's many of them in tents and different things, and some people freeze to death. But we're going to save the dog, right? So we're going to get the dog medicine. Mary's teeth are abscessed and she is fucked up. She is in so much pain. I wish someone like Center Valley Animal Rescue, which is what OlyCap should be doing, right, would rescue Mary, would rescue the humans, bring the humans indoors, get their teeth fixed, get them medical. No, we must be humane to the dogs and criminally charge. Why don't you criminally charge OlyCap for the elder abuse? There's an idea. Yeah, I think I'm going to start filing some elder abuse, definitely. Julie would be another good example of that, too. Also can attest to the fact that some of these people, including Julie, weren't like that before OlyCap terrorized them for years. And a couple of the heroin meth addicts that are there weren't like that when they came to town. They just needed help. They were working on the downtown buildings and construction, fell on hard times, had a breakup, had some issues. And it's easy to get heroin and meth at the shelter because, you know, they don't care about the dealers. They just, at fairgrounds, they don't care about that. You live in a car, they got to get a sticker, you're going to get in big trouble. But heroin, death, all that, we don't care. So I've seen what the Port Townsend system has done to the homeless and changed them and turned them into addicts and violent mental patients. It's on you, OlyCap. It's on you, Port Townsend. All the people needed was a little bit of help. But you'd rather spend $100,000 torturing them over 5 years than maybe $5,000 the first year to relocate them and get them on their way. And the person that I'm thinking about at the shelter that went through all that, he could have been saved in the beginning for a couple $1,000s. Nobody fucking cared. But they sure did make meth and heroin easy to get, didn't they? And they don't do anything about it. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to file some elder abuse complaints. That's a good idea, Crystal. I like the way you think. What else? I don't know. Port Townsend Police, they did help that day when I called them and said that the shelter had put people out in the smoky air last year. So it's like 5, right? It's like number 5 or something with air quality, and everybody stay indoors and everybody this. But let's put all the homeless people out. And I contacted the police. I contacted OlyCap. I stirred a bunch of stuff up. And within an hour, they got back in. Okay? So doesn't anybody else give a fucking shit? I mean, and how does it mix with the people going crazy at the shelter because they're treated the way they're treated with the tourists? You don't like that? You like that look? Right? But you don't like the look of me being parked somewhere that you don't approve of? Anyway, a bit of a madhouse. So there's a bit about Mary. Marilyn Wells, Port Townsend. She was in the local paper on the front page when she got her blanket from the VFW. Blanket's been stolen. Life's went to shit even worse since then. They've done nothing to help her. They just move the dirt around, get some more money to move some more dirt.